It's May, Clint.
It is.
What else we got to talk about? Let's talk about the college football playoff next year. Let's figure out who's going to be in there. Let's figure out who's not going to be in there. Let's just go ahead and get the predictions out in the open. Listen, there's no need to hide this stuff. Alabama's not going to make it.
No.
Who might make it because they're better than Alabama? That's what we'll talk about today on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome back. Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On podcast, and we're your team every day. I am Clint. He is Daniel. Thanks for listening to us, making us your first listen wherever you get audio podcasts. Get over there. If you're on the YouTube side, get over to Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Download us. And you're on the YouTube side, hit notification, subscribe, get that button, get that bell so you can know when this goes live. We are in talking season, and we're going to talk more about the college football playoff and who we think is going to be in it. This is one of the best times of the year. As a matter of fact, Daniel and I have a bet every single year. We need to do that live. Daniel, we need to do that live on the podcast. You and I need to go through the bet, and we need to show the people what we do live.
Say less. I'm in.
Fantastic.
Let's do it.
Okay, we're going to do this. But one of the aspects, every single year, we give who we think is going to be in the college football playoff. Now, we did yesterday.
Now, it's subject to change between now and then, but this is just, we're going to give you a little snapshot into right now.
There you go.
Here's
so there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on here between Daniel and I.
Subject to change.
We just little asterisks, little whoop next to everything. But we are talking FPI yesterday on the pod and now today. We want to get after who we think will make the college football playoff this coming year.
Just don't mind me.
I was just going to say, Daniel, look, I am now filling the space as Daniel reaches behind him and grabs something into a glass. So let's start. I'm going to give you my teams, my top 4 teams to make the college football playoff. It starts with number 1 at the top, and it is, in fact, no surprise to anybody. It is Georgia.
It's the name of the podcast.
We literally, it's right here. It's right there.
We are him.
We are him. And Georgia is him because it's got the best college football coach. It's got the best offensive line. It's got the best defense. It has the most talented players, has the best position coaches, the best facilities, and a quarterback who may wind up having one of the best single seasons in all of Georgia football history.
Listening to you talk yourself into Carson Beck over the next 5 months is going to be truly one of the great joys of my life.
Look, if you guys don't know, I am full on. This is called spend. I am in.
It's very similar to the way I feel about Mike White that you feel about Carson Beck. Yeah. We are just talking ourselves into a lather right now. Like we're getting all fired up.
He's not wrong.
He's right. He's very right.
Number 2 is the Nope. They're not.
I'm sorry.
They're not because they won't be in Atlanta. They won't be the top 5 teams in the nation come ranking time because they will have 2 losses on their schedule. And if I know anything about the college football playoff pre-expansion, if you got 2 losses on your record, Daniel,
it ain't great.
You're not making the college football playoff.
Maybe once they expand, they'll give Nick Saban like one last college football playoff
I think he has
run.
one of those like automatic bids in.
Like an exemption?
Yeah, he has an exemption.
He's allowed to just
Yeah, it's like the early bird special at the restaurant. If
he does qualify for that.
You get it for half price.
The blue hairs, yeah, that's where he goes.
Hey, keep it classy. Okay,
I won't.
Okay. Number 2 on the list is Ohio State. Ohio State is talented. They have an easy path. They live in a ridiculous conference. It's absurd. They have Michigan in there, but I do think it is Ohio State. I finally think they do that. Number 3, Daniel.
Where are we going to go now? Talk to us now, Clint.
This is where it gets top 2 is pretty easy for me. After this, it gets real hard. And I'm actually going to go with LSU making the college football playoff.
I don't hate you. I don't hate you for it.
I'm going LSU. I think they lose in Atlanta this game. I think it's a rematch of last year, but I think LSU with the ranking gets in.
We got 2 undefeated teams in Atlanta?
I think we do.
Wow.
I think this year's SEC is going to be just electric, and I think we're going to stomp them, but I think it will be lead up electrifying all the way through that. And lastly, to make the college football playoff, we also need to do a segment at the end of this. We are on a sleepers, third segment listeners. We're going to do, but we also need like will not cash.
We'll never make it.
We'll never make it. That's what we need.
That's great.
Lastly,
he's figuring it out as he goes.
I'm figuring it out because I'm between 3 teams. I'm between 3 teams.
A rock and a hard place and an equally hard place.
I really, 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 really think they're going to put Notre Dame in again. This is me predicting what it will be. I don't think Notre Dame should be in. I think they will put Notre Dame in, is my 4th team. Those are my top 4. Again, what I think will happen, not who I think should be in it. We're going to come back after this, but first, FanDuel. FanDuel is the best place to go ahead and make bets on all these. If you like the futures, if you can go ahead and get
we like the futures.
Georgia to make college football play. If you can get odds, you can get money on that. You can get juice. You gonna give me some action for that?
Give him some juice. Give the man a little juice.
FanDuel.com/lockedon is where you need to go right now. They have a no sweat first bet guarantee, meaning this: if you go ahead and you're a new user, you get over there, you deposit some money, you put action in on something, and your first bet does not cash. Guess what? They're going to give you $1,000 in bonus bets coming right back to you. If it doesn't cash, bonus bets of up to $1,000. FanDuel.com/locked on. Terms and conditions do apply, but it is fast, it is reliable, it is easy, it is great. They're the official sports book of Locked On Bulldogs, as well as the official sports book of Locked On Podcasts, NBA, as well as MLB. Those actions are all over the place. And again, futures for SEC Championship, Georgia, and college football playoff. That's FanDuel.com/locked on.
All right, Clint.
The floor is yours, sir.
It's an interesting conversation here because, we're each going to list 4 teams. I come into it with 4 teams. You come into it with 4 teams. And the question, I think, kind of is, how many teams will overlap? This is kind of the question.
It is the question. Okay, one is going to overlap.
One's going to overlap, so let's just get it out of the way.
Let's just say it.
What Mike White is doing with this Georgia basketball
program. Nope. Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
Georgia's going to make the college football playoff. Georgia's going to be undefeated, 13-0 going into the college football playoff. They are going to be the number 1 overall seed in the college football playoff. And, I mean, honestly, I don't care who the quarterback is. I think anyone could play quarterback, and they could make it that far. I don't know that anyone could play quarterback and they could win the national championship, but I do think anyone could play quarterback and they could make it that far.
Okay.
I'm going to list these teams in order of my confidence that they're going to make the college football playoff.
I like this.
Number 2 on my list, University of Southern California Trojans.
Oh my gosh. This is where gamesmanship is happening. He doesn't believe that. Let me.
I do 100% believe this.
I don't believe that.
I don't know what you're saying. I absolutely do. The Pac-12 is trash. And if it weren't for some absolutely fluky plays and maybe a weird injury to Caleb Williams, they make the college football playoff this year, Clint. Okay. They should have made it this year. They will, I think, be at worst 11-1, win the Pac-12 championship game, and so be 12-1. And I think that they're going to make. You want to talk about an easy path?
I got a hot take on that.
You want to talk about an easy path?
They have an easy path.
They have a very easy path. All right. Clint's going to be picking Deion Sanders in Colorado to make the college football playoff, but I'm sticking with
strong hint. No.
I'm sticking with Southern California.
Okay.
I'm going to go team number 3. The team I am third most confident will make the college football playoff.
This is going to be lunacy. Here we go.
I'm just calling it like I see it, guys. I believe it's the Clemson Tigers.
Oh,
And Dabo's winning. All right, let me talk to you about some reasons. Number one, these are not the 4 best teams in college football.
okay.
These are the
that's
4 teams
important.
most likely to make the college football playoff.
Very important. to
Okay,
understand.
we're going to get to the Big Ten in my 4th pick, I assure you.
Okay.
But I do not think LSU is going to be undefeated going into the SEC championship game. I do believe that they will beat Alabama, but I think they will lose a game, stumble along the way. Okay. And so I do not have 2 teams from the SEC getting in. I think the second most likely team from the SEC to get into the college football playoff is actually Alabama, but I think they're going to lose 2 games in the regular season and therefore are not going to get in.
No.
Florida State is to college football what the most overhyped thing in any area of field of sport or society is to that field.
Wow. He said society.
There's nothing more overhyped in society than Florida State football.
Oh, jeez.
Clemson's going to once again roll through the SEC. Now, we made fun of
or
Garrett
ACC?
Riley, the ACC, sorry. We made fun of Garrett Riley, the hire, because Georgia absolutely decimated him in the national championship game.
It was bad.
That is a good hire for Clemson. Do you know why it's a good hire for Clemson? Because he's never coached under Dabo Swinney before. And Dabo Swinney needs to get out of his own way, because all he's done is hire former grad assistants, guys that have come up through the ranks, and guess what they've all been lately? Really, really bad at coaching. So what he needs to do is what he did, which is go outside and hire someone who actually knows what he's doing, because he has a really good quarterback again at Clemson. I don't know how they keep getting these quarterbacks, but they do. Cade Klubnik is very good.
He's very
and
good.
With Riley at coordinator, I actually think that Clemson's offense, it's hard to oversell how bad DJ was.
It's not.
It's no, but I'm just saying you can't say it enough. Like
Okay,
you
yes.
can't oversell it. You cannot say you know what, I think you went too far.
No, you can't.
There's no way to do that.
He was literally the biggest disappointment in quarterback history.
It's the Ryan Leaf of college quarterbacks is who
Yes.
this guy is.
Yes.
Okay. So I think what our perception of Clemson, to be fair, is a bit skewed because of the DJ factor.
Sure.
I think with the quarterback, I think that they will be able to put it together in the ACC and have a mostly unscathed run right to the college football playoff.
Great.
So USC and Clemson both based on ease of schedule.
Two new teams in the college football playoff.
Yeah, I mean, new that weren't there last year. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, Clemson
Clemson's
has
been there, right.
been there many times. But
USC has not.
third team, this is where I'm getting away from easy schedule. And I'm going to go off of the old, if it ain't broke,
Here we go.
don't fix it type of mindset. And I'm just going to ask you,
I'm not going to answer.
would you pick Alabama to beat Georgia this season? The answer is no.
No.
Why not? Because they're not as good, and they haven't shown that they can do it in the last little bit.
Hey.
Well, why would I do anything but pick Michigan? Why would I not pick Michigan? And I get that,
Above Ohio State.
yeah, when they make the college football playoff, are they going to defecate on the bed? Sure they will. Sure they will. That's not what this segment is about. You explain to me why I should pick Ohio State over Michigan head-to-head when Ohio State will be objectively less talented than they've been in Ryan Day's tenure. And Michigan has everybody back and has boat raced Ohio State 2 years in a row. Why would I not? So give me Georgia, USC, Clemson, and Michigan. And let me tell you, if that's the 4, ladies and gentlemen. You better start getting the confetti ready for
Hey,
that
M-dubs.
parade.
Hey, M-dubs. Hey, Dukes.
We're
Let's-
gonna be
where you wanna
rolling. Yeah,
We'll be
'cause it's
coming in. We'll be coming in thick. That road
coming
trip
in
gonna.
hot,
I'm going down to Nashville. I'm making a quick
just
stop
on two wheels.
We're gonna come back out right after this. He said two wheels. By the way, Daniel. People are mad. Not the 199. By the way,
No, the 199 doesn't get mad. They live in
Royal
a carefree
37
life.
They live bonfire.com/store/the 199. Get over there, get some merch.
Love
It's
y'all.
fantastic.
Y'all
Love you all.
fantastic.
People upset that we use each other's names so much. It creeps people out when we do so.
When a person refers to another person by their name,
They say it creeps them out too much.
that creeps people out.
It creeps people out. When I
Okay,
say
bud, why don't you talk now, sport? Like, what do you want me to say?
they just don't want us to refer to each other. They just want us to talk. We all
Okay.
know they love the banter, but keep
They
the names
do
out of it.
love the banter. We'll try to keep the names out of it.
All right.
Golly, there's so many rules to podcasting. I got to catch up.
I also have a rule.
Okay.
I don't let people who are less than 26 infringe upon my emotions at all. Rule 1.
Yep,
Rule
that checks
2.
out.
Rule 2. I don't allow YouTube commenters any space in my head unless it's beneficial to me. This is
But
rule
by
2.
all means, please keep supporting
But-
the pod.
Please keep supporting the pod. Okay, sleepers, Daniel. Let's go through sleepers. I'm going to start with the sleeper team. You said they have no shot. You said they're the most overhyped thing. But if you don't think Florida State has a higher chance than other teams on this list, I would rather take Florida State than Tennessee. I'd rather take Florida State
Okay,
than I would Penn State. I'd rather take Florida State
interesting.
maybe over Oklahoma. I don't think
think that.
Venables is the guy
I
at
don't
all.
think that.
By the way, Florida State it's a sleeper pick. Who's your first sleeper?
My first sleeper pick. I mean, I think you're going to agree with this because I can't imagine who else you would be picking. But my first sleeper pick is Utah
Yep.
because number one, they're going to get a win over a, hold your breath, everyone, ranked Florida team to begin the season because
Florida's not winning more than 5 games this year.
why is Florida going to be ranked to begin the season? They're
Clueless.
going to get housed by Utah, but that's going to put Utah in the public eye.
It will.
And then they're going to have, they've got they've got Oregon and USC. These are the teams in the Pac-12. Like, this is it. And I'm not in love with Oregon this year. And so you're really looking at might we see Utah and USC play twice for the, in the regular season and the Pac-12 title game?
Look, Oregon, the only chance Oregon has is if, in fact, the dearly beloved head coach over there gets that defense just fully loaded and going.
Yeah.
Because Bo Nix has shown at Oregon he's actually a good quarterback.
Bo
which is-
Nix is 75 years old. Like,
He is
what?
75.
How is this still a thing?
I don't know. I don't know.
No
Has he
one-
sired any more children while he's...
There's no way to know.
I can't say whose yacht he's been on.
It doesn't matter about which yacht it is and which yacht it isn't. That's the point. All right, who's your next sleeper team?
The second sleeper pick, Daniel, I was going to choose Utah, but yeah, every single year, Utah is just a good program. Like, they're just a good program. I don't know how else to say it. So I'm going to go down the list. We need somebody. And if y'all didn't see this coming from my love of him in previous years, then the Fightin' Fickle is taking his talents up to Wisconsin. I'll tell you this. It's a bad conference. Fickle knows how to coach. He's got some talent in there. I'm just saying it's a sleeper. I'm not going to lay coin on it, but I am saying I'd rather them than a whole host of other teams. Wisconsin new coach. The Big Ten is a joke.
That's absolutely, the Big Ten is a joke. And, yeah, absolutely. If you're going to, there's no way this happens.
Okay.
And so this is like
That's our
real
next
dark
segment.
horse sleeper.
Okay.
But what did we talk about last episode with Alabama? The hypocrisy with Alabama.
No, there's no quarterback.
You know who has a quarterback?
Who's that?
North Carolina has a quarterback.
I don't.
So like you got.
I don't hate this at all.
You gotta at least consider. Do you know who plays in a trash conference?
North Carolina.
North Carolina plays in a trash conference. Do you know who basically has a bye to the ACC championship game? North Carolina basically has a bye.
When I point to you, you talk.
Yeah. So you have got to at least consider Drake May, North Carolina, and a coach that may or may not have a cardiac arrest on the sidelines this year. I mean, Mac Brown does not look well, guys. Someone intervene and get this man off of my television.
He's been blinking a lot.
He's in trouble.
This is my last sleeper, and this has to do, again, same logic. So go to a trash conference that has quarterback play that can transcend. And Penix is not a fantastic quarterback, but he is electric.
Uh-oh.
Washington Huskies, Pac-12, got two major teams, essentially. Oregon, if Dan Lanning knows ahead and just coaches his tail off on that defense. But Penix can play. He's electric, and it's a Pac-12. Washington would be a sleeper. Daniel, who cannot get in at all? Who is
Texas?
Why? Y'all.
Texas.
Why? But why?
You're not asking me why Texas can't get in. You're asking the general population, why are we putting Texas up here?
Why are you putting Texas up there?
It's an 8-5 team.
We've done this every year.
This is not... They are the Florida State of other football teams. Like, that's how I feel about them. Like, I don't know how else to describe them.
Florida State, as we know, biggest overreach in society.
Society's biggest overrating. And Texas is the Florida State of Texas football teams. Texas-based football teams.
Yes.
I mean, Alabama is the other team that can't make the college football playoff.
Okay. Can we just Tennessee is not making college football playoff.
Tennessee is overrated.
Oh gosh.
They have zero chance.
Okay.
To make the college football playoff. Zero chance.
State of Texas, I don't feel sorry for you. I was going to lie.
Why would I?
I don't feel sorry for you. You guys gave Sark control, and you also gave Jimbo control with a payout that cannot be paid.
This is one where you put the words "ever" after you say it.
Ever.
Texas A&M's not making the college football playoff.
Ever. But what about when they expand?
Ever. Never. Not one time.
They're never. Why do you guys do this?
They're never going to make it.
I know that it's supposed to be. We have so many 5-stars coming out of Texas, so many Super Bowl winners coming out of Texas, so many starting NFL talent comes out of Texas. Guys, Texas and Texas A&M will never make the college football playoff. Texas might when it expands. A&M
Texas will make it when it expands.
But come on, y'all.
It's bad.
All right. Anybody else not making it, Daniel, in your mind?
I would say I don't love Notre Dame's chances to make the college football playoff. You had them in there. I thought that was a bit of a reach.
I'm just saying, I go with predictive behavior of morons.
I don't think Penn State is making the college football playoff.
No.
That's the toughest division in football, probably, and so it's not looking good for Penn State. I do think there's some chances that you could get some other kind of random sleepers in here, but those are the only teams that I'm ready to absolutely rule out. It begins and ends. The list begins and ends with Texas. Texas is going to beat Alabama week 2.
Oh, shit.
And then they're not going to make the college football playoff.
By the way, if you want to know early line guarantees, give me Utah
Facts.
minus whatever points you want.
24.5? Sure. I'd be happy to. You know what? I'd be happy to. Let me take 25 just to make it a round number.
I'll go ahead and just go ahead. I don't care. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. We'll see you guys next time.
See ya.